Rabat from Derby, England. I was wondering if you could tell me about the story of Bob Holly's match at the 2004 Royal Rumble with Brock Lesnar. I heard he originally had 18 minutes for his match, but then it got cut short because Triple H and Shawn Michaels wanted to have a long main event. Bob also mentioned how he got in trouble with Vince McMahon because Triple H badmouthed him to Vince. Can you go into this story? Well, indeed I can. So in his book, which is great, by the way, The Hardcore Truth, I interviewed Bob it's probably 6 years ago now. Bob was great. He always treated me great. I've talked about this before because Bob Holly has a certain reputation, and I can't speak to that and the experiences that people who worked with him may have had and all that, but I could tell you that from the conversations he and I had, which was more than just the interview that I did with him, he was nothing but a stand-up guy. I thought his book was, it's called The Hardcore Truth. I thought he was very open and honest in his book about a lot of different things. It's one of the better wrestling books that I've ever read. Got a very nice message from him on my phone after my mother passed away. I was blown away by that. So, in my book, Bob Holly has been a stand-up guy. But he, in his book, he talked about how important that match with Brock was to him at that time, because Bob Holly was not a main eventer. Bob Holly was never positioned as a headliner. He never wrestled for the World Championship before that. He was a mid-card guy who they can plug in wherever they needed him. If it was a tag team with Cody Rhodes, if it was a tag team with Crash Holly, if it was the hardcore title, whatever it was, he was like a great utility player off the bench, if you want to look at it like that. So him challenging Brock Lesnar for the championship on pay-per-view was a very big deal. It was a very big deal for him. They were playing off the injury where Bob broke his neck taking a powerbomb on SmackDown from Lesnar in 2002. He claims he did not sandbag Brock. It was just a miscommunication in the match. It happens. And anyway, he was out for over a year. He had to have surgery. He was out for a very long time. And fast forward to the Rumble. Me too. I forgot the music was on. There we go. Turn that off. Fast forward to the Rumble in 2004. They're opening the show. Actually, no, they weren't opening the show. No, they didn't. They didn't open the show. But they were on, I think, before the Last Man Standing match between Shawn and Triple H. And they're wrestling for the WWE title. It really, in a lot of ways, if you think about it, it was the perfect kind of match you could have at the Rumble. You don't have to have a big-time match at the Rumble for the championship, and this was not a big-time match. But they were trying to, play off the history with the injury. And this was huge for Bob. This was huge. Even though he wasn't winning, I don't think anybody believed he was winning. That wasn't really the issue. It wasn't about him winning. So the story here is that they were given 15 minutes. It wasn't 18 minutes. They were given 15 minutes, including entrances. And so he and Brock had a whole bunch of things planned that they were going to do in this match, and they get to the gorilla position. And they're about to go out for the match, and I don't know who it was, but somebody tells Bob, well, you no longer have 15 minutes, you now have 8 minutes, including entrances. So the match itself is probably more like 6 minutes. And all of a sudden, all these things they had planned, like they were going to take their time and build, with the drama and everything, they're literally about to walk out, and now you just told these guys, we've cut your time literally in half. You have half the amount of time that you thought you were going to have. And it just completely threw everything off. And the reason they did that is because, he says, Shawn Michaels and Triple H wanted that time. They wanted more time for their match, their last man standing match for the World Heavyweight title. And because they wanted that extra time, it got cut from Lesnar and Holly. So they went out there, they had a match that really was not all that great. Half the match was Bob being trapped in a bear hug by Brock. It wasn't very exciting. As far as Triple H bad-mouthing him, I think that was the Rene Dupree incident. There was an incident with Bob Holly and Rene Dupree that involved, well, I'll abbreviate here. It involved a rental car a parking ticket or some kind of ticket that Bob eventually got in the mail because of Renee, who then went on to deny the whole thing. And all that did was piss off Bob even more, because he thought, here's this young punk who's disrespecting me, and now he's lying to me. And during a match, Bob beat the shit out of him. He was very stiff with Dupree to the point that he ran to the back. Bob ran to the back with him, and he beat the piss out of him in the back. And apparently after that incident, I guess Triple H got in Vince's ear about what he did and how he should be fired for it. So Bob Holly does not have any love lost for Triple H. So that is the story of what happened there.